Welcome to Kyber Lab, episode 12. The goal in Kyber Lab here is to max banners, remove RNG wherever possible, and avoid mistakes. So in this particular fight, this is an awesome fight. Very, very smart use of mechanics. And you can use these same principles in many other fights versus negotiators or other fleet lineups that have very predictable moves, which are most of them, frankly. So the goal here is to get 64 points plus. You do need to check the gear and mods to make sure the speed order is set correctly. So in this particular setup, your fives should move first. This doesn't work, for instance, against a team with the fives on the other side. This is very specifically against the team with DTL, Y-Wing, Ahsoka, and Anakin's ETA2. This is often set because it's difficult to counter, and specifically against Malevolence, it can be a little complicated too. Or Malevolence fighting it can be complicated. So make sure the turn order is your fives, their Ahsoka, and actually 5 basic will give Ahsoka some turn meter as well. So Ahsoka will go first, or go second. But make sure it isn't a really fast Ahsoka, like Relic 8, and your fives is Relic 3 or something like that. And then the TIE Fighter. Not the TIE Fighter pilot, the TIE Fighter. Imperial TIE Fighter. So, when you have this turn order and you move first, there'll be almost no RNG in this fight. So the goal, you'll see it, it's very clever. This is often used to climb an arena, although some guilds use it in territory wars as well. It's less common in GAC, although obviously Yeti here is using it in GAC. It's less common in GAC because the lineup is not often set, and TIE Fighter or Imperial TIE Fighter is often used with Executrix or Chimera on offense or defense, but on offense you can also use the same trick to make sure your ship goes first because of the benefits that Foresight being dispelled from Imperial TIE Fighter benefit gives you. So we'll see here. Ahsoka goes first. We'll use her Retribution, and the Imperial TIE Fighter will use his special and target her. She will counterattack, and the counterattack, because it dispels Retribution or dispels Foresight, will grant 25% turn meter to the capital ship, 50% turn meter if it's an Empire capital ship. And then your Negotiator, or Yeti's Negotiator, moves first. There's really no RNG involved if you check the turn meter correctly. So here we go. Ahsoka, she uses Retribution, uses the special. There we go. Move first, AoE. You could target. In this case, I personally would go after ETA2 and not let Ahsoka die. So you would avoid the AoE, but it doesn't dramatically change the outcome of the fight. Here you can just use the AoE and kill ETA2. And just like that, the fight is essentially over. Certainly, you still have to win, and more importantly, stall out appropriately to get max banners. You don't know yet what the reinforcements are going to be, but you see the principle of the fight. It's a bit lucky that the AoE or that 5's hit killed Anakin, because there was some crits involved there earlier on in the fight. But the principle is still the same. Like, you have extreme control over this matchup. And there's other ships you can use instead of Imperial TIE Fighter, but for this particular matchup, because Ahsoka is there and you're going to guarantee yourself turn meter, it's a wonderful matchup. A wonderful technique in this matchup to guarantee max banners. Very clever. So here, he keeps on going. Here we go, 65 points. Fantastic match. Great way to use your Imperial TIE Fighter if you're not using them in your Empire fleet, or if you know you're going up against a faster Negotiator in GAC, or you don't want to deal with a coin flip. A very, very clever fight, and a great way to make sure you move the RNG, which is what this is all about. So cheers, hope it helped.